Hello everybody and welcome to today's vlog. Today I'm going to be looking at a connection between here at RAF Lindholme and the Great Escape. Now unfortunately this is not a happy story and it does not have a happy ending for the gentleman involved, that is Antoni Kiewnarski. Very brave man. I came across him when I was doing the vlog, which is on the playlist on willmxkid, about the plane W5566. That was RAF Lindholme's version of the Memphis Belle. It was a really badly damaged plane that came into land, and unfortunately all of the people on board, I'm getting lost again in the woods, where am I going? All of the people on board were injured. Luckily no loss of life though, just like the Memphis Belle. So here we take a look at the paragraph that captivated me, that was underneath the write-up of W5566, which is all about Antoni Kiewnarski and what happened to him after he became a prisoner of war. As you can probably tell, this story is about to get very dark. So before it does, I want to tell you all about today's sponsor, which is Dossier Perfumes. Today's scent is Ambery Vanilla. It is a dupe of Yves Saint Laurent's Black Opium, and I've got to say this is quickly becoming one of my favourites. What I've been doing is wearing one of these fragrances for at least a week so that it sort of lives on you, so you get to feel exactly what it's like, and I must say this is absolutely amazing. And I've never even had a smell before of Yves Saint Laurent Black Opium, but if it's anything like this, wow, it is great. So the top notes on this are mandarin, pear, pink pepper, licorice. The middle notes are jasmine and orange blossom, and the base notes are cedarwood, patchouli, vanilla and coffee. And I've got to say, it is absolutely lovely. The reason that we love Dossier Perfume and we're really happy to be brand ambassadors is because they are also non-toxic and completely animal cruelty free. They're based in Grasse in France, and they employ some of the top noses in the business. So thank you Dossier, thank you for helping us to be able to keep the channel going. And yes, another important notice, because I know probably a lot of men are going to be watching this sooner than women just due to the content. They don't just do female fragrances, they also do male and also unisex. Back to the story. So let's have a quick recap about W5566, which was the plane crash that happened here at RAF Lindholme. So on the night of the 17th and 18th of April 1942, the crew of this 305 Squadron aircraft were tasked with flying an operational flight to bomb Hamburg, but dropped their bombs in the area of Terschelling because of engine trouble. They were forced to fly the return leg with only one engine, and while attempting to overshoot Lindholme Airfield, the aircraft collided with Wellington Z8519, which was parked on the ground at Lindholme Airfield at 03:30 hours. 5 of the Polish crew in W5566 were slightly injured, and the tail gunner escaped all injury. The aircraft was deemed beyond repair. So this is the bit that caught my attention. Antoni Kiewnarski was born in January 1899. He was flying in Wellington Z1248 on the night of the 27th and 28th of August in 1942 on ops to Kassel. His aircraft was shot down and crashed in the Netherlands. He and one other member of the crew survived, and Flight Lieutenant Kiewnarski was taken prisoner. In March 1944, while being held at the Sagan prison camp, he was one of a number who took part in the mass breakout which became infamous as the Great Escape. Unfortunately, he was one of 50 murdered when caught, and is now buried in Poznan Garrison Cemetery in his native Poland. Now, who wouldn't read that and want to know more? So that is what this whole video is about. Let's go on an adventure and find out who this brave Antoni Kiewnarski was. I'm terrible with my Polish, so if I'm pronouncing it wrong, please do tell me in the comments below how I should be pronouncing it. And let's see if we can just bring this hero back to life, even if it is just on a YouTube video. Before I start with this exceptional story, I want to place this in time here at RAF Lindholme. So this is August 1942. Less than a month previously, 305 Squadron had to leave RAF Lindholme, and they were actually based at RAF Hemswell, but they'd only been there for 3 weeks. Most of the war had been served here at RAF Lindholme prior to them going over there, which is why I've been able to use this as a link to the Great Escape. But this particular plane would have been flown from RAF Hemswell. Now, the reason in July 1942 305 had to leave here is because the ground had been completely churned up by the heavy bombers. It was in a terrible state. So in July 1942 they all got relocated to be able to have an actual runway, a tarmac runway. And during the next few months, RAF Lindholme had a proper concrete runway put down, plane dispersals, and also the perimeter track, which is the only thing that exists to this day, apart from the watchtower. If you've not seen my vlog about the watchtower, please do. Again, it is on the playlist, RAF Lindholme and Hatfield Moors. So what I'm going to read now is all from Wikipedia, but I think it's really important to just put this gentleman's achievements into context. Antoni Kiewnarski. Antoni Wladislaw Kiewnarski, the 26th of January 1899 to the 31st of March 1944, known to his friends as Tony, was a Polish Vickers Wellington bomber, observer and captain, flying from England when he was taken prisoner during the Second World War. He is notable for the part he took in the Great Escape from Stalag Luft III in March 1944, and as one of the men captured and subsequently shot by the Gestapo. He was Polish Air Forces. His years of service were from 1917 to 1944. His rank was Flight Lieutenant and also Major, service number P0109. He was part of the unit number 305 Polish Bomber Squadron, and his battles and wars were World War I for the Polish and the Soviet War, World War II, invasion of Poland, Channel Front, and then as a prisoner of war, but he was also mentioned in dispatches. Kiewnarski was born in Moscow, Russia. He enlisted into the Polish Army in August 1917 and served with distinction in 3 wars, World War I, the Polish-Soviet War and World War II, transferring to the Polish Air Force and rising through the ranks to senior sergeant and later commissioned officer. After the German and Soviet invasions of Poland in September 1939, Kiewnarski travelled to France and later to England to continue the fight against the occupiers of Poland. In England, Kiewnarski continued to become a flight lieutenant in the Free Polish Air Force, serving with number 305 Polish Bomber Squadron, flying Vickers Wellington bombers from RAF Ingram. That's the only bit I'm questioning here, because I don't believe he would have made it to RAF Ingram, just knowing my history. Yes, RAF Lindholme, yes, RAF Hemswell, but Ingram's still out there for me. He was an observer, the aircrew role of navigator bomb aimer, and in command of the aircraft and its crew. He survived a serious crash on the night of the 17th-18th of April 1942 when his crew were flying the Vickers Wellington, serial number W5566, tasked with bombing Hamburg. They had to drop their bombs in the area of Terschelling because of engine trouble, and had to make their return flight on just one engine. While attempting to land at RAF Lindholme, the aircraft collided with another Wellington which was parked on the ground. 5 of the crew in W5566 were slightly injured, but the tail gunner escaped all injury. So obviously that information we already know. And I've just come here to the island out on the Hatfield Moors, which is the crash site of R1073, but it does have the Polish memorial here. So even though no Polish men died on this site, unfortunately that information has been lost to history, and it is now a beautiful memorial to the 4 men who died earlier on in 1942. There, look, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And I really don't care that it's the wrong place, I don't care that it's the wrong crash. I think anybody remembering these brave men, I think is phenomenal. And look at that! The most beautiful of dragonflies has just landed on the cross. A bright orange dragonfly. Oh, being chased off by a wasp. I don't know. So yes, it's gorgeous here. I love coming here. Oh, it's back again. There it is. Look, hovering around the wreckage. I wonder if that means anything. Oh, gone again. Oh well, it's nice to see, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. On with the story. Kiewnarski was in command of Vickers Wellington Mark IV, squadron codes SMD, serial number Z1245, on the night of the 27th to the 28th of August 1942, attacking the German target at Kassel. His aircraft was shot down by a German fighter near Eindhoven when 3 of the crew were killed. He and his wireless operator, Sergeant Frankowski, were captured by the Germans. Frankowski was wounded and after treatment managed to escape and return to England. Kiewnarski went straight to the prison camp system as prisoner of war number 24,801. He ended up in prisoner of war camp Stalag Luft III in the province of Lower Silesia near the town of Sagan, now Zagan, in Poland. In prison camp he was regarded as an elder statesman for the Polish prisoners. The Great Escape. Kiewnarski was one of 76 men who escaped the prison camp on the night of the 24th to the 25th of March 1944, in the escape now famous as the Great Escape. The initial groups out of the tunnel were those who needed a head start in order to get to the local railway station and catch their appropriate trains. He was in the first group of walkers who followed. They were led by Willie Williams and posed as a band of lumber mill workers on leave and included Australian Rusty Kierath, Canadian Jim Wernham and Pole Kaz Powlock. In a filthy cold night they headed east towards the railway lines and then south to Checkendorf railway station, where Jerzy Monshane used a forged travel pass to buy tickets for the group of 12 on a 6 a.m. train to Boberovsdorf, 3 hours south, where they split up. Kiewnarski and Kaz Powlock arrived at Hirschberg, now Jelenia Gora, but while walking through the town the afternoon were arrested and interrogated in the town police station before being held in the local jail with other recaptured escapees. On the morning of the 29th of March 1944, Kaz Powlock and Kiewnarski were taken away. Later that same day, Jim Wernham and Nick Zikas were removed from the cell. The 4 were shot near Hirschberg, now Jelenia Gora. Urns were received at the camp bearing the date of the 30th of March with their names but no location of cremation. On the morning of the 30th of March, Doug Pointer and Pop Green were told that they were being taken back to Sagan. When they reached the camp, the officer in charge refused to accept them and they were taken back to jail. After a while, the 2 men were returned to Sagan and spent time in solitary confinement. Kiewnarski was one of 50 escapers who had been selected by SS Gruppenführer Arthur Neb to be killed. These executions were carried out by the Gestapo. The place where he was cremated is unconfirmed. His remains are now buried in part of the Poznan Old Garrison Cemetery, where his headstone shows the rank of Major. Kiewnarski is commemorated on the Polish Air Force Memorial at Northolt in Middlesex, and his name was on the list of murdered officers which was published in the newspapers on the 20th of May 1944. I was absolutely blown away by the next bit, and this is the nationalities of the 50 men that were executed by the Gestapo on that day. There were 21 British, 6 Canadian, 6 Polish, 5 Australian, 3 South African, 2 New Zealanders, 2 Norwegian, 1 Belgian, 1 Czechoslovak, 1 Frenchman, 1 Greek and 1 Lithuanian. Absolutely barbaric. Antoni Kiewnarski was awarded with conspicuous bravery as a prisoner and was recognised by a mention in dispatches, as none of the other relevant decorations then available could be awarded posthumously. Now, I know that the war crimes that were carried out by the Gestapo, especially on this day, were absolutely horrific. It doesn't say how many, but it does say that a number of them post-war were tracked down and also then tried for war crimes. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love bringing all of the stories from here at RAF Lindholme to life. If you've enjoyed this, please do hit the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so. At the side of the subscribe button is a little bell. If you click on that, you'll get a notification every time we upload, whether it be a video or a short. And if you want to become a channel member and get access to exclusive videos and shorts that I don't put anywhere else, the link to become a member of willmxkid is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Did you like that vlog today?
Yeah.
And what do you do now?